eModels.co.uk. Make something awesome.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello gang, Colin here, Festa 67's workshop, and welcome to part 5 of the eModels build of the Honda CBR 1000RR. And we're going to be doing some engine frame decaling and be starting the assembly, folks. So without further ado, let's just get cutting these bad boys off. And they're mega tiny. So we'll just, my magic, get the tweezers of goodness and grippage out and have a wee looky loop. Soak that in a bit of water. And then we'll start putting these on. We've got the oil filter, bits and bobs around the engine to do. So we'll lay them down. Get me knife of decal movingness out. You can all start cringing now because, yeah, I use a scalpel blade, but I just find it easier for me just to move the decal blade around, the decal round with the blade, and I'll just get it into place like so. So we'll wrap that with its other decal, which is all of the instructions for the changing of the oil filter and all of that. So we'll put a bit of the extra or the normal decal solution on. Grab the engine. Put a bit of the solution on the side there, and then get ready to put the decal on. So just put my brush away, and then we'll get the decal off and put that in place. And this is the delicate side of the build, this is, folks. Now these decal solutions I'm using are the ultimate decal solution set. You get your normal, strong and extra strong, and they really are a nice set of decal solutions, and you can grab them from my sponsor eModels by popping over to eModels.co.uk and whacking them in your basket, folks. And obviously if you want a kit to build along with me, the CBR, the link is in the description below this video, and you can grab one of these and build along with me. So we'll just grab that and start that moving off of there, and then I can deftly, he says, put that decal in place, and hopefully with my eyesight of seeingness it should drop straight into place. That's what we say anyway, that's according to the plan. So we'll just nudge that in there, like so. Put that to one side, and then we start putting on the frame markings. All of the bits and pieces, information about the frame, VIN number, all of that gubbins. So we'll just lay that into place, like so. Just nudge that in like that, and that's that decal done. And these are nice decals, these ones, folks, so you should have a lot of fun putting these on. So we'll just put a little bit of the extra strong on there, just to start letting that conform to the contours. And then just put it away, and that's all you'll see me keep doing. I'll just pick it up, add a bit of solution, put it down. That's why I use the 3. So we've got the bike support there, like so, and this has got the HRC that goes on the jack there, like so. And then once these decals have gone off, I'll then get round to putting the wheels on there, and yeah, you just wheel the trolley underneath the bike, and yeah, the bike will be supported, folks. So we're whizzing through these at quite a nice rate. We've got a bit of the old Olins going on there on the canister, and you got one of them on each side. So whack it into place, move it with a knife, nip round the other side and do the other one, and then let them dry. And then if you need to go back with a stronger solution, then you can go back once they've bit. Just brush that round there, like so. We've got tinsy wincy little decal there to go on, and yeah, the optivisor of seeing this will come out for that one. And then you've got another label going on the side of the swing arm. Just move that into place. And again, using the different strength solutions, we will get that to conform to the curvatures of the swing arm. And then you've got your information going on in the inner side of the exhaust pipe, which is all the different bits and bobs that it conforms to. Now, bear in mind, folks, check your instructions. Make sure you're putting it on the correct side of the exhaust. It goes on the inside edge of the back silencer box. Right, let's just give that a little nudge there, the one for the thermostat, or the radiator cover, should I say, like so. And again, this is a tiny little decal, this one, so I'll just let it stick to the model with the first solution, and then I'll come back at it once it's had time to dry a bit more with the other solutions there, because I don't want to pop it straight back off with the brush again, because yeah, I'll be flailing my arms and legs around like a 5-year-old otherwise. So let's just put a bit of solution on these and start getting these to conform now, just like that. Grab that decal. Yeah, it's on the thumb colt, it's on there. That's it. And then you've got these tiny little ones that go on the handlebars there, like so. There's your little switches and the details for them. So again, another tiny little decal, but persevere, it will go on fine. Quick looky look at the engine there, and I think we can start looking in a minute at doing some assembly. So we'll get the oil filter on. Tiny little oil filter there. Get that in place. Give it a press, like so. There you go. Just let the glue squish out and weld it, because the extra thin is a welding glue. So we can start now looking at doing a bit of assembly on the engine now. Get the engine covers on. Check the orientation's correct. And then just lock them in place like so. Bit of a dry fit. Go around with the extra thin. Have you a little bit of this. And have you a little bit of that. And then it'll just bond straight in place like that. Yeah. And I would make engine noises, but we're not at that stage yet. I'll start putting some of these ancillary components on now. There you go. See, that'll drop in there. Just like that. And I'll dry fit everything just to make sure that I'm putting the right part on. Like so. And then we can look at getting the extra thin in there, just to start gluing that in place. A little dab in that corner, and like I say, with a capillary reaction, it'll scoot along there and it'll stick that together just like that. A little press with my finger, and that is in place. Just come round there, start putting the hoses on. O's, he said. O's? O's, or letter O's. There you go. And it's surprising, I mean, being a Tamiya kit, you do get some really nice detail in these, folks. You won't be disappointed. You really won't. And it's one of them, I do like building a bike, so look out for future builds, because I shall be going on a bit of a bike building binge, I think, because I've thoroughly enjoyed this one so far. So I'll just put the hoses on there like so, put it to one side, and come back and do a bit more fettling, work out the orientation of the engine. I'll put a little bit of white cap on this just because it's a bit more gloopy for the next component going on, and then if I need to I can always dab a bit of extra fin on there just to kick it into gear and get it all to bond nicely. But try not to drop it, Cole. Like that. Just make sure it's pressed in, and just dab a little bit of extra fin along there, and that will scoot and the two glues all mix together like that. Shall I do a brum brum noise? Yeah, go on, brum brum. There you go. Have a quick looky look, make sure I've got it the right way round, and then we'll put the hoses on like so. And then I can do a little bit of detail painting just on a few little bits. Now that I've glued them on, I can see where I can just add a little bit of tiny detail in a few spots. And this is the stage where you can start building up your engine, and you can just go back over a few bits where the glue may have melted a bit of paint off or whatever, and just finesse it a little bit. A little bit of lipstick and mascara at this stage saves you a lot of time later on. And this is normally the stage where I'll put a little wash on the engine just to start giving it a little bit of a used look about it. So we'll put that on the sticker gripness. Admire your work. And then fiddly little piece there. It's really tiny, and it's where you top the oil up, and it's where the little dipstick goes, and it goes just in there. So yeah, it's probably the dipstick tube you pillock. There you go. And looking through the opti-visor at that, it's like, yeah, I've either got the world's biggest hands or it's a tiny part, one of the two. Get that into place. Hopefully it stays. Like so. Just gently give that a tweak, I think, because it looks a little bit off kilter. And I've got the instructions just to me left there, and I'm having a good look at those just to see the angle of the dangle on this piece, just to see how it should look. And it just needs a little nudge to get it in the right direction as I knock it clean off. So we'll just glue that back on. Try not to drop it. There you go. Like that. And fingers crossed they'll stay in place. Like that. So I'll let that dry for a little tiny moment, I think. Put that back on its clip of gripness, and I'll just put that to the back because I want that to go off. Right, we've got the frame out. We've had time for things to dry on the engine now. So I think it's time to get the screwdriver and the screws out, folks, and start putting this bad boy together. So we got the engine and the frame. I've got the instructions on the bench there. And with Tamiya instructions, you'll find if you lay the screw on the instructions, the actual printed screw is the size of the screw you want. So it comes in really useful when you're putting the engine in and starting to screw things together on the bikes. So just have a look round as you're pressing the engine in to make sure you're not catching anywhere. And then grab your screw, pop it in the appropriate hole and get your screwdriver of goodness and just let it start biting. And I tend to let these nip up at first, line the engine up everywhere, and then go around and just tighten them up at the end, like so. And then you'll find that everything else then should start popping into place. and just spin it around to make sure that the engine is sitting in the frame nice and square. And I tend to just have a quick look, yeah, and then put the diagonal screw in like that on the other side there, and then just tighten that up just like that. You don't need to go massively tight on these, but just enough to keep it going, so that you don't over tighten the screw and strip the plastic out. So that's already starting to feel structurally a lot stronger now. So we'll just go around now, just bite that one in, and then we can look at screws now for the top of the engine to get that into place. So let's get the jig out, bung that on the bench, and start putting the bike in place. Now the jig comes in handy at certain stages of the build, when you're assembling the frame and that. So it just makes it a little bit easier if you drop things, where you can just bung this in place and just nip it into place. I'm not worried about drilling out bits to mount it. I'll just push it through where it grips the frame enough for me just to not keep dropping the bike. So just put that brass rod through there, and that should then hold this taut enough for me to pick it up and put it down without getting fingerprints and glue or anything on the bike. So just adjust that like so, and then just pull it a little bit under tension, and it will stop it flicking around then, like that. There you go. And it just holds it in place for me, makes it easier. And I move the bike up and down the jig as it gets bigger, so we'll have a looky-loo now, see what the next stage is. And it's going to be just putting in extra screws for the engine, checking up on that, and making sure that all the bits I've put on so far are in the right sequence. So let's just have a quick check. It's looking, yeah, I think it's looking all right. So let's have a think on what stage is next. Yeah, we'll make up some more hoses there, folks, for the rear end. Brake hoses, things like that, but also hoses from the injection system and the cooling. So we can put these hoses underneath as well, because this will clip in underneath where the rider sits. It's got the rear light cluster on it as well there. Let's just pop that in. Try not to drop it. Like so. Another couple of hoses there, and these will feed through the frame then, and come out just where the swing arm sits and go into the rear brake cylinder. So let's just pop that back in place like that, and that can now sit just over there. Happy days. Well, let's move that to one side. What have we got now? Bit of suspension going on, so let's put the spring on there, and then the cylinders on top, like so. And this will be ready then for the rear swing arm to start getting mounted to and going in the frame. So fair bit of assembly going on today, folks. We've got a fair old weight to go on the bike, so I think, are we ready for the swing arm yet? Let's have a look, because we've got various brackets to go on that screw in place, and yeah. So let's have a look at the destructions and see what we got. I wrapped the hugger there in carbon fibre so that can go in place with a bit of white cap. Let that sit in place, just like so. Just like that. And then we've got a bit of screwing going on there. We've got some little brackets here. So we just put the screw in one end like so, and then hopefully we can get that in situ so that we can start screwing it in just like so. And don't want to go too mad with the tightness, because these mount then to the side of the coil spring. It'll all just work its magic. So let's just make sure that they're moving quite nicely, and then dig out the other screws ready to put this all together. What have we got? Got that little piece to go in there, so let's just pop the screw in the end, just like so. It's tinsy wincy, it really is. So let's try and get that in place on the end of the screwdriver in the hope that I can hold it all together. Because if anyone's going to drop it, it's going to be me, isn't it? So let's just pop that in there. Now, by powers of deduction, and stop twitching, we can then get this orientated the correct way, feed it through, and then start getting the screw in place like that. Once you've got one in, it's so much easier. It's just getting that first one in. What I should have done is put it on the actual moto jig and held it that way. But yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, Festa. So let's just put the other one in, like so. And then line that up. And pop that in there, just like that. Give that a little tweak. Get that into place. Like so. Just check with me eyes of seeingness that I'm getting that all in the right orientation. Just off camera I've got my magnifier so I can see that I've just got it lined up. So we'll get the chain out, put that in place. Yeah, let's go for the rear wheel and put the rear brake disc on. Again, just dry fit it, check it, make sure it fits, and then I'll put this on with a bit of gloop just to let it initially joint, just like that. And then we get the tyre on. The tyre's been sanded. And make sure, folks, that you get it the right way round, because there's a little arrow on the side of the tyre that gives you the rotation of the wheel. A lot of people forget that. So just have a look at the instructions and it will show you the rotation of the tyre. There you go. Let's put that on like so. And then dig out the long screw there, lay it on the instruction, just to make sure it's the right one, which it is, as you can see. So we'll have him. We put the wheel on. So just move those out of the way. And then drop the rear wheel in. Like so. And then get the long screw. Feed that in like that. And then just nip it up. Like so. Look at that, folks. And then the rear caliper, you just spin round, and as you spin it round, you'll hear it click into place, and the little tab just inside the swing arm. And I tend to nip my wheels up on my bike builds so that the bike wheels bind very slightly. It's just that way I find when they're on display, they don't roll forward or anything, or go rolling off the shelf accidentally. So I do my wheels up so there's a bit of resistance. And for the guys at eModels, it's going in their cabinet, so I shall bind both front and rear for them. So when they put it on display, they haven't got to worry about the bike moving about as they lean on the cabinets or whatever. I think now that we've got that on there, this is pretty much a good spot to wrap this episode up with, folks. So don't forget, if you want to build this with me, you can order one of these kits from eModels over at emodels.co.uk. Pop along and have a look in store. Your one-stop shop for all the model making needs. Whilst I put this on the jig, they sell the paints, they sell the tools, pretty much what you need to build your models they sell. So feel free to pop over. They'll sort you out. If you've got any questions, you can always email them and they'll do their utmost to help you out on whatever it is you're looking for. And whilst I put this away and tidy up, I look forward to seeing you all in part 6, where we'll do some more assembly. And I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye for now.